All right, folks. Steve with you here once again. Today we are making a clock. It's going to be a multi-step process, so there will be edits and cuts in the video. Uh, there's painting involved, and I won't show the painting part. It's just spray painting, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty much the same as the layered egg I did in the previous video, except this time we're making a clock instead. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification so you know when we're doing more stuff. Also, there is a comment section down below, and I appreciate all you guys' comments. Ignore the sirens going by if you can hear them. It's daily. And if you are in the market for a Glowforge, we do have that link down below. Go ahead and click on that one, and you can save up to $500, and it'll make us a little bit of money, being that it's a referral link. So today we're going to start in a little bit different place. I'm going to turn my mouse on so you guys can see what we're doing. All right. We are going to go over to Inkscape first. So we are now in Inkscape. I'm not going to show you how I put all this together, but this is a multi-layered project. I just wanted you to see the mock-up so you get a better understanding of what we're going to do today. The brown or tannish color with the clock numbers, these will all be cut out. The black is a backer. Just behind the actual clock, and then the words and the horse here, that is all going to be engraved. This is a customer order, so we got to make it right, and was given permission to show this on video, so thanks Reno for letting me show this, and we're going to go ahead and make a video of it today. So we are going to go ahead and turn our fan on over in the Glowforge, and switch over to that bed so you guys can see what we're doing here. Actually, we got to switch to app.glowforge.com first before we can do anything. Getting ahead of ourselves, folks. It happens. I do it a lot. Okay, so we are at app.glowforge.com, and we are going to hit New Design over here today. And you can see I already have a board in. This is a 20 by 19 piece of board, and you can see that I have it down here. So how do I get all 20 inches in? I have the Pro, so I have the pass-through slot, so the rest of it's hanging out the backside. I just need 10 inches because this is a 10-inch clock, and I wanted to make sure that we were having the right amount of space. I'm going to go over here and hit upload. I could have done this on the other page too, but either way works. And now we got to find, we know it's on the desktop. I know it's under the word gemstone, so we need to find that. These things go in alphabetical order, and right here it is. So because it's in different colors in Inkscape, each one of those colors should come in separate over here, and as you can see, they'll come in grouped first, so they're all together, but over here on the side, they are all separated. This is the outer ring with the inner ring. This is the clock face itself, and this is the engraving that we want done. So it's actually pretty nice that it does that. As long as you keep everything separate colors in Inkscape or whatever program that you're doing it in, when you bring it over here, it'll import separately. Now, you don't have to import it separately. You can import it all together. You can make them all the same color, but I prefer not to do that. So we are not going to use this one because this is our backing plate. We're going to make the backing plate out of MDF, and we're going to make the clock face itself out of Baltic birch. So we're going to ignore this one before we do anything so we don't forget. We're going to set our focus so we don't forget. We'll just set it right there in the middle of the horse head. I think clock making is pretty fun. I've actually started a few. Finally came up with this design, which I like, dual layer, double layer design. I do have one where the numbers are separate and you glue them on. Those take a little bit longer. And then there's a piece that sits in the middle of the clock. I like this style a little bit better, but either way, they're all good. So now we're going to, and this clock face itself, if you can notice, it's a little bit not perfectly set, round in the middle, and that's because the 9 and the 3 are a little bit, I couldn't get it to be perfectly round, but I kind of like the look, especially on this clock, because these words here aren't exactly centered either, because there's more words on one side than the other, or bigger words. So it actually worked out better because it kind of stretched it out a little bit. So we like that on this one. And I'll work on different clock face, but I did make this one myself in Inkscape. I'm not a very, don't ask yet, I'm not very good at Inkscape yet, and I am using a Mac, so it's even a little bit harder for me. So, all right, so we want this to be engraved, so we're going to use our normal settings, 1000, and about 80 for the power is where I like it to be. You're going to put it at 195 lines per inch. If we don't like that, we'll just go over it again, but it should be all right. Then we're going to go down to the clock face. We're going to go manual. We want the speed down around, well, we want this to be on a cut, so we're going to change that to cut first. Then manual. Around 170 seems to work best for me. Full power on the cuts, and that is it. That's all we need to do. We should be ready to go. Now remember, this is 2 cuts. The first one is going to be this. Then I will switch over and put a piece of MDF in the same way I have this in there, and then we'll paint the MDF. I'll do that off camera, and then we will put them all together, and I'll show you how that's all done. And then we'll put the clock hands on at the end. So we are going to go ahead and hit the print button. I don't know how long this one's going to take. I did a smaller version of just the logo, and it was 20 minutes. So I'm expecting a little bit longer than that because it's a bigger print. 18 minutes, actually. It was a little bit slower, or faster, I mean. I think what I did on the smaller print, though, we're going to cancel this, is I did this at 225. And I like the way it came out, so I want to switch that back to 225. So we're going to go print again. This should be closer to 20 minutes. Now, to make a clock, 20 minutes pretty quick. You'll have, in something like this, with this light of a etch, you'll have probably an hour in putting it all together and everything, gluing it, doing all the stuff. But as far as making a clock altogether, that's not too bad. 21 minutes. I think I'm going to be happier with the outcome on the 225 lines per inch instead of the 195. But who knows? So we're going to hit the magic button, and I'll switch over, and we'll speed it up probably 8 times, maybe 4 times. We'll see. It'll stay down at the bottom. And the button is flashing, so we're going to hit that. And away we go. Enjoy. right, so the cut is done. We are going to go see what it looks like. All right, while we're over there, we're just going to go ahead and put the MDF piece that we're going to be using next in. I'll be sliding it in from the front, but it'll actually be hanging out the back so that I can see that front edge like this one was. Alright, the pins that you saw me using are just called honeycomb pins, and they are just to hold things down. Now that didn't really need it. The birch was a little bit warped, as you saw, but that MDF has never warped. Switch it back to the camera here so I can show you what we got. And I think that came out pretty good. Hard to get a good shot, but looking nice. The numbers are cut out along with these lines. And the horse and words are all engraved. Let me be the first to say, that is a pretty sweet logo. I like that. So we're going to go over to back to the app.glowforge.com. And now you can see that we have the MDF board. So what we need to do now is unignore this one. This one now needs to be a cut. Manual. We're going to go same speed, I think, 170. It never wants to pick 170. And then full power on that. That's good to go. And then we're going to ignore these two. There we go. So all we're doing now is cutting out the MDF circle. That's it. Now the one thing I didn't do on the last one was move this over to an edge, and I should have, because I wasted some board there. So we're going to do that with this one. First, we actually need to set our focus so that we know exactly where to go. I just usually set it right in the middle. So once that focus is set, we'll go ahead and move it to the bottom and one side. That way we're not wasting any board, as little board as possible. You can only make one 10-inch out of this, so you need as much as possible for the rest of the board so that you can do other things with it. All right, so I'm going to select it all so it stays together, and then just move it down here and over here. And really, the next thing to do is hit that print button. This is only going to take 1 minute and 6 seconds. get that one out of there and see if we're okay with it. I think we are. Alrighty. So now we have a round. So now we'll put the two together and we'll paint this back one black and it'll look really cool. So I'm going to go paint this. I'm going to put a sealant on this one. I'll show you some tricks when I get back, how to glue these together. But I'm not going to do anything until the paint is dry and we're ready to glue. And how to get these to stay together right. So we'll be back as soon as that paint's dry. All right, folks, it's been a bit since we did the cut and painted the backboard. So this is where we're at. You can see it came out really nice. You don't have to be perfect on this if you're putting it behind something. Just have to be decent. But that's just one coat of regular black spray paint. So looking pretty good, actually. So next thing we're going to do is take this piece and glue it to this piece. And I have a couple little, well, one little trick that I like to use, and we're going to angle you down so you can see. All right, I've got this one backwards. We're going to take this one and put it off to the side for now. All right, so just using this stuff today. This is Titebond. There is a version that dries clearer than this. I don't happen to have it right now, so we'll be very careful not to screw this up. To get too much glue on it. So I just like to go around. You don't need a ton. As I said, less is more, and you don't need a ton. So we're just going to go around the edge like this. I'm going to hit the numbers a little bit, but not major. I missed the 3. All right, so then we're going to take a brush, if I can remember where I put one. And on the numbers, I don't want that to seep through because it will give it like a glossy appearance. So I'm just taking it and making it less around the outside and around the numbers. Putting it on the inside here. Less glue on the front end of this because it is a black color, and it'll show even if it dries clear. So if you brush it, it's just Dollar Tree brush, of course. That's a running theme of this show. Dollar Tree stuff. Getting a little bit on the desk, but that's okay. Now the next goal is to make it line up perfectly, and this is where we have a little secret. There are 2 holes. These 2 holes are equal, so we need to find something to align the 2 holes. This is a screwdriver handle, just a cheapie. It's a slight bit tapered. If I put it in like that, you can see that it is in that hole. Now all I have to do to line these up perfectly is line this hole up with that. And there you go, voila. Now, there is some glue coming through, so we need to make sure that that doesn't stay that way. But first, clamps. These are just from Walmart. They're tough, whatever, I don't know, hyper tough version of clamps. They are less than $4 a piece, and they work really good. And they're small. You can get the bigger ones. The bigger ones are around $5 a piece, maybe a little bit less. And I have some of those too if we need them. Sometimes you got to get more than 4 on here. So first I start out just where the numbers are, and then I'll go around to see whether or not whether or not I need more. So I'm just looking at the edges here. Sometimes the board is a little bit warped, so you need more clamps. This time, however, we're looking pretty good. All right, we're back. The clock is fairly dry. There's a tiny bit of little wet left, but we're going to go ahead and put it together now. The things you need are going to be right here on the desk. You need a clock movement, which is this. There's a little rubber washer. There's a hangy-jiggy. Now some clock movements come with one attached right here. There's a nut, a washer, and 3 hands. The hour, the minute, and the second hand. So that's the items we need to put this clock together. The first thing we do is take this guy and put them on. You want it opposite of the battery compartment. You can see the battery compartment there. You want this top piece here to be at the top. So the battery compartment is at the bottom. So again, just like that. And it'll kind of fit into place. Then you put the rubber washer on top of that. Then you turn the clock over and you put it in the hole. That's what she said. And just making sure everything's good. Okay, and then you take the other washer, that one. Now that I got it on the clock, it's hard to get off. Put that on top. Then your nut. Pretty simple to put a movement in a clock if you've never done it. These few clocks that I've done, I just learned myself. So it doesn't take long to learn. I screw it as tight as I can by hand first. And then you can see that hanger right there. I want to make that so it's lined up with the 12 at the top. So I kind of visualize. I'll hold it like this and I'll see the 12 and I'll move it until it looks fairly in line, because when it hangs, you want it to hang with the 12 at the top. So now we just get some sort of tool. In this case, I'm using this. I'm sure there's a better tool for that, and just tighten that up as much as we can without hurting the clock, of course. I need a bigger one, just slightly, but I don't have one, so this is what we're going to use. There we go. We got it. I like to test it by moving on that, and if it moves a little bit, it's okay, but you don't want it. When I say a little bit, I mean use a lot of force. And then, of course, double check and line it up again. Make sure, and then double check this, make sure you're as tight as you want to go. I could have moved a little more. And double check again. So we're good. Now it's time to put the hands on. Always the shortest hand, which is the hour hand, I believe, goes first. And it just slides down over. A little of pressure. It doesn't take a lot. None of the movements that I found so far take a lot. You may need to straighten the hands out a little bit. That's okay. Then the next shortest hand, which is the minute hand, goes above that. These are silver on one side, black on the other, so it's easy to remember which side goes up. We want the black side, of course. And then your second hand. There's a hole in the middle. I don't know if you can see it. And there's a little pin on the bottom of the second hand, so the second hand goes down inside. So like that. So now we have a completed clock, and we can put a battery in it. Now this one takes AA. This takes a single AA, and this is a smooth movement. I like to make sure everything works, so I will put the clock hands all the way up and look at them. Now the second hand is bent down a little bit. It's going to hit the hour hand, so you got to make sure that doesn't happen. You want all your hands to be separate. We'll bend the hour hand down a little bit. Make sure it doesn't hit anything. Now they're all separate. And I'll work on that a little bit more because they're a little bit warped. But that's okay. This is what it is for right now. and you can see that they're all not hitting each other. So if I'm to take the hour hand and go around, and now you can see that the minute hand follows it, the second hand and the hour hand are together. But anyway, I like to start them at the top and then set the time, which is right now 7:15. So we'll go around till we get to 7, which is past 6, of course. We hit the, so now I messed it up, so let's start again. I don't want to hit the minute hand while I'm going because it can mess things up. All right, there's 7:15. All right, there we go. A little bit of glue still left in there. We'll get that taken care of. Now I'll show you how that movement works. Got these off at Amazon. They are a little over $5 a piece, but it's a nice smooth movement. You can see that it doesn't tick. You know, it doesn't. There's no jerky movement in it. So that's it. Really not much more to it. It's a nice looking clock when it's done. I'm try to get the least amount of glare on that. And it's a nice little advertising piece for a business. And it's pretty much portable, and you can hang that on just about anything. So that's nice too. Of course, before the customer gets it, I will make sure everything is lined up and correct. And that is it. Pretty good looking clock. Don't see a lot of that shininess in there where the glue was, so we did a good job cleaning it out. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like it, hit the like button. Gotta get you so you can see it. Hit the like button. Share this video if you think it'll help somebody. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. And of course, if you need a Glowforge, we do have that affiliate link down below. And if you click it, you can save up to $500 depending on the machine you buy. Thanks for watching. You all have a good day.